A strong supporter of multilateralism and a firm believer in free trade. That's the image China wants to show to the world at this week's G20 summit in Osaka. Assistant Foreign Minister Zhang Jun said Monday the President Xi's schedule in Japan will be a full one, including plenary sessions, multiple bilateral meetings, informal meetings with several countries and groups, and joint discussions on global development issues like the world economy and climate change. Zhang called the G20 a key platform for global policy coordination and said China hopes to contribute to a fruitful summit. He also called on other countries to uphold multilateralism and seek common solutions that rise above short-term interests.
China will work with all parties to firmly uphold multilateralism. The international community has fully recognized the repercussions of unilateralism, protectionism, and bullying practices. We have sent a strong message together to support multilateralism and to oppose protectionism. Under the current situation, the G20 summit should broadly uphold multilateralism, maintain international order based on international law, and safeguard international fairness and justice.
Hotly anticipated is an expected encounter between Chinese President Xi Jinping and his U.S. counterpart Donald Trump at the summit's sidelines. The meeting is seen as key in solving the country's trade dispute. Senior Chinese officials say working teams from both countries are in communication on the possible solutions to their existing differences. And for Beijing, respect and mutual benefit are pivotal to the trade dialogue. China believes that both countries should stick to the WTO rules and that compromises should be made on both sides.
President Xi Jinping spoke to President Trump on June the 18th. The two leaders agreed to continue to communicate on the economic and trade differences between the two sides. Currently, the trade negotiation team of the two countries are implementing the important consensus of the two heads of state. As for China, we stick to the principles of mutual respect, equality, and mutual benefit. Mutual respect means respect for each other's sovereignty. The agreements should be beneficial to both sides, and each side needs to make compromises and concessions.
In the recent couple of years, the rising protectionism and unilateralism has brought both uncertainties and risks to the world economy. And now the senior Chinese officials hopes that G20 member countries could be conscientious of holding multilateralism in order to bring new vitality and momentum to the global economic growth.
Building the platform for direct communication between executives of Chinese financial institutions and African coordinators. The two sides discussed actions on how to further strengthen China-Africa trade and investment cooperation.
The China Development Bank has played an important role in China-Africa cooperation for many years. By 2018, we had provided over $60 billion for nearly 500 projects in 43 countries, covering infrastructure, energy, mining, and many other areas.
Against the backdrop of trade protectionism and unilateralism, Chinese officials say they have upheld international order and attached the great importance of avoiding debt risks.
Whereas there be that move by some countries to unilaterally move on their own and protectionism, we believe that the collaboration with China is shared. We believe it's for mutual benefit, and that's why we are enhancing this engagement.
I believe China is playing a very pivotal role in the socio-economic development of Africa, and especially in my country. It's estimated that about 1 million Chinese people are actually living and working in Africa. And recently, the estimates are about 200,000 Africans living and working in China. And if you basically assess, what China has done through, the FOCAC forum for the past couple of years, there has been an increase in the investment in China. It's estimated of about 500 billion.
It's believed that through these bilateral and multilateral activities, China and Africa will strengthen high-quality and sustainable cooperation, safeguard multilateralism, and build a closer China-Africa community with a shared future.
Senor Chu Dongyu from China, 108.
The new FAO leader promises that he will make rural areas around the world more attractive and farmers happier. He will succeed Brazil's Jose Graziano da Silva and begins his 4-year term in August. The FAO has over 11,500 employees and works with other agencies within the UN to achieve the goal of a hunger-free world by 2030. Qu Dongyu, an expert in agriculture, aims to reduce hunger and poverty on a worldwide scale. With a PhD in genetics and breeding, the biologist spent years working in biotechnology research and was awarded a prize for outstanding contributions to the world potato industry. He became Vice Minister of Agriculture and Rural Affairs in 2015. Before that, he was Vice Chairman of Ningxia-Hui Autonomous Region and Vice President of the Chinese Academy of Agricultural Sciences in Beijing. Some analysts say that Qu's Chinese background will be a great advantage for the food agency.
The successful election fully shows that FAO member countries' affirmation and confidence towards Dr. Qu Dongyu himself. It shows their recognition of China's achievements in agricultural development and poverty eradication, as well as the higher expectation of the international community for China to play a responsible role.
The Palestinian Authority issued an official refusal to participate in the first stage of Donald Trump's so-called deal of the century, his proposal for Middle East peace that begins with the economic conference in Bahrain on Tuesday. The official Palestinian position rejecting the conference, which will bring together representatives of governments, civil society, and businessmen from an unknown number of countries, was expected. But what was not expected was the refusal of Palestinian businesses to participate in the conference.
We're not a part of this political game. Our people and businesses will not be either. All American aid to our people stopped months ago, and now they want to talk about funds and projects? It's all about trying to buy our rights.
Alongside the United States and Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and the United Nations announced their intention to participate in the Manama workshop, while Iraq and Lebanon joined Palestine in refusing to go to the event. Palestinian officials expressed disappointment over the decision by some Arab states, including Jordan, Egypt, and Morocco, to attend the conference.
We call on Arab countries not to participate in this economic workshop, which aims to set up the, quote, deal of the century, to liquidate the Palestinian cause, and is devoted to so-called economic peace instead of a political solution that is supposed to be based on resolutions with international legitimacy. Any Arab participation is a contribution to this deal of the century.
At the same time, Hamas denounced the conference and saw it as a way to facilitate Arab normalization with Israel. Hamas's spokesman, Hazem Qasim, said in a statement that the American administration continues its illusion that the Palestinian people can change their rights with projects or funds.
Facebook released a white paper, noting that it wants to revolutionize money. The social media giant planned to launch a new digital currency, called Libra, which is based on blockchain technology.
To reinvent money. That's the main objective. This is to go against all the high fees you have if you send money outside, the country. And so there's no fees, technically speaking. There's a small fee on the transaction, which is fraction of cent. This is to serve that part where there are no borders. I know you, you know me, I don't care where your location, I can send in the money, I can buy the stuff from you.
Represented by these three wavy lines, Libra seeks to do what cryptocurrencies Bitcoin and Ethereum have not: appeal to the general population by being stable and easy to use. The hope is for users to trade Libra in their local currency through Facebook's own Calibra wallet app, as well as third-party wallet apps, or even such places as grocery stores. The introduction of the Libra currency immediately raised significant privacy concerns, since Facebook has been grappling with a series of privacy scandals that have continuously called into question the way they handles its users' data.
According to that white paper is, we're not going to collect information about you. All what we're going to do is to make sure that there's no money laundering, no fraud going on here. If somebody hacked into that system and managed to process, change, then that's going to be a horrible thing for Facebook, because they already have a bad year in 2018. They don't want to have another one by taking your digital money now.
That's partly why Facebook has created the Libra Association, a non-profit organization headquartered in Geneva, Switzerland, to operate the blockchain. To set up the charter, it's gathered a diverse group that includes competitors like Visa, MasterCard, and PayPal. All must donate $10 million to the reserve.
We're not looking for this one only for just transaction. We're looking for future, services like investment, lending in the future using the Libra coin. So they are really already have a plan for that.
One of the things that I think worries most global regulators and global central bankers is simply this. Facebook has 2 billion users. You can't ignore those. All it takes is 10% uptake of Libra within the Facebook ecosystem. Facebook is the biggest bank in the world.
The Libra Association has 28 founding members. Facebook aims to get 100 members before launching Libra sometime in the first half of 2020.